Well, that trapezoid bed's coming along pretty good. Dahlias are really starting to take off. Still haven't planted a mock orange. My wife's herbs are doing pretty good. I just watered all these. They got a little rain from the thunderstorm, but not enough to hardly wet the ground. A little clematis that I dug up from the home on one of my videos a little bit back and said I was going to bring it down here. I put the bricks on it to keep the roots cool. The cannas are coming up. The calla I bought last year and didn't do too well, but it's coming back. And these are starting to flower, which is really nice. The yellow one we bought and this purple we bought, that's one of ours, is non-variegated, pink. That's white. These hostas are now 4 or 5 years old. And if your coleus get too high, like if you've had some that you grew from seeds or you bought and you hadn't put them in the ground, you can pinch out the top leaves. Best to do it with a real sharp little pair of scissors. And just cut out the new growth in the center, and it'll come out from a stem and be a bushier plant. These peonies always fare poorly because all this tree activity blocks the sun, and peonies like full sun. Out of about 350 onions, we've had 6 go to seed. And when I was watering these, I see that one's going to seed and that one's going to seed. And this is our beans done with rabbit cage, irrigation. It's been watered. This is fairly taut. And they're showing some growth. I've got very few 11 leaves. 13 is optimum. You know, that one in there is 11. Most of them are 8 to 10, and there's a lot of 4s and 5s on the edges. These sweet millions are finally picking up. We put okra down that row and okra right here. And we put it on the bed's pretty wide, and we put it on the left side of the bed about where the dripper is. And then when we came up here, we got it in the middle of the bed because those sweet millions there will need some room to pick. And okra gets pretty bushy, especially if you cut it off about waist high. And these were really peaked. We didn't know what was going on with them, but I assume the roots just hadn't grabbed a hold of what they wanted to grab a hold of, because now the leaves are starting to turn really dark. And I've see that compost pile we're working on? I ran a lawnmower over the dry stuff, and it really makes it really super fine. And when it compacts down, I always take a stirrup hoe and get the weeds out. But when you put that on there, it's hard for the weeds to come through it. And see, I'll do this row when we come down again, and I will cut those weeds out with a stirrup hoe first. All these have been watered, the cukes. My grapes are making grapes. We're working on this pile. I think most of it will be on the garden. So we still got melons, corn, squash to plant. We're going to put the corn over there once we pull the onions, and we're going to put the melons under here. Still haven't put the hosta in the ground. We still have some coleus to go. And I put my marigolds in the 2 barrels out front, and the rest of them in the garden to attract bees. There are the tops from and the roots from the onions that we pulled that had gone to seed. And we actually saw a honeybee today on some clover. First honeybee I've seen. I don't know if we even saw one last year. And we brought these bags over here because they were basically killing the grass. And we went through it. It's almost totaled out dead. But it won't hurt it to sit there and bake a little bit longer. Well, it doesn't surprise me that this 4th of July is the first one to fruit. And we can walk by these and miss them, and when they get that big, it's surprising to me, but they are green. So we got some there, and on that one, you can see one. And then you're tying up the rest of these plants, and we're starting to get sucker growth, and I don't take them off because this stem will produce tomatoes all the way up. That will produce tomatoes all the way up. This right here will produce tomatoes. See them right there? Now if I'd cut that sucker off a week or so ago when we planted these, we'd lose all those tomatoes. So what's the point of cutting them off? I just never have understood that. And the plants are turning green and healthy, and the suckers are starting to grow, which is what I want, because I don't cut them off. A lot of people do cut them off. Here's a sucker that's growing out of the main stem. And see those flowers? Well, let's just say you got 3 right there. Times 13 plants, that's 39 tomatoes off of one little sucker. And that sucker will go all the way up top of that stake and over to that stake. And that sucker could grow me, I don't know, 25, 50 tomatoes. So I leave them on. You can tell they're prolific, because see, you got a cluster there and a cluster there. They do put out tomatoes. It is an absolute great tomato to have. Well, I've been tying up all my tomatoes, and now they're all tied up. I try to keep them, the main stem in the center of the stakes. And I always I don't try to put a tie under the thing that's going to hold the tomatoes, that shoot. And I try to space this so if this was on the inside, it wouldn't be all jammed in. I'd pull this plant around to this side and tie it up. And that way the tomatoes would be hanging out here to enlarge rather than be wedged in a little spot like that. And I would say that of these 13 sweet millions, probably almost half tomatoes. They're small and they're harder to see. Let's see. There's 4 that I can see on that one. And there's some right there. And these were the spindly ones. And there's some right there. And there's some right there. Anyway, they tied up now and the wind can't beat them to death. And the apples are coming along pretty good. See that discolored fruit? Just take them off. That's the king. Remember that said the middle one grows the biggest? There's a few spots on them. And the June drop has not been that bad. If I can get over here a little bit. See, there's a few apples on the ground, but it's not horrific. And if you really wanted to on a June drop, anything on there would fall off anyway. But you could just go like that and they would fall off if the stems are loose. And on these larger trees over here that don't fruit as well, but there's a few more on the ground. Hopefully you can see it in all the shadows. We're getting ready to plant some more stuff in the garden, and I thought I would just run this around and show. This is really not a big June drop. I mean, a big June drop you would see 5, 6, 8 times this many apples on the ground.